Good day, everyone. Welcome to another live streaming session. Let me lead you once again as you continue your journey towards an active lifestyle and lifelong fitness. Today's live streaming session will focus on these most essential learning competencies. Observe personal safety protocol to avoid dehydration, overexertion, hypothermia, and hyperthermia during participation to moderate to vigorous physical activities, and demonstrate proper etiquette and safety in the use of facilities and equipment. In our previous lesson, you have activated that mathematics pro is in you. Along with bodily movements and exercises, you have also exercised your minds. As you played with a lot of numbers, which at the end you realize to be very significant. And that computing your target heart rate is very essential. While you continue engaging in your chosen physical activities, you have learned that it is also important to know as to what level of intensity your body is working, and to track your progress by getting your target heart rate, which can be done using these methods. Do you still remember? And do you still remember this scale? Yes, this is what we call the board's rating of perceived exertion, which helps you determine whether you are exercising in the light, moderate, and vigorous intensity zones. You just have to master how to interpret this scale and use this as your guide to know if you are working just hard enough or extremely hard. And remember this Venn diagram? This represents one of the most important elements that you have to consider while you continue engaging to your chosen physical activities. Yes, the pacing, wherein we apply the principles of overload and progression once your body becomes adaptable to the activities. Try doing a variety of exercises in smaller chunks and consider period of rest to allow your body to recover. Before moving ahead to another exercise session, by considering all these elements, you can say that you are really on the right track on your way to achieving your fitness goals. So let us move on. Please have your learning modules ready with you. Open it on page 18. Let's call this activity in or out. Here you will be classifying whether the game or sport to be shown is an example of an indoor or outdoor activities. You will be given 10 seconds to answer directly on your module. And we are going to check your work right after answering. Are you ready? 100-meter sprint. How about billiard? Bowling. Chess. Cycling. Football. Javelin throw. Softball. Surfing. And last, Taekwondo. Let us now check your answers. 100-meter sprint is an outdoor sport. Billiard is an indoor game. Bowling is an indoor sport. Chess is another indoor game, while cycling is an outdoor activity. Football is also an outdoor sport, the same with throwing the javelin. Softball is another outdoor sport. Surfing is also an outdoor activity, while taekwondo is an indoor sport. Okay, count the number of correct answers and write it on the upper right-hand corner of page 18. Is your chosen physical activity belong to these examples? Is it indoor or outdoor? An area where you perform your physical activities plays an important part aside from the weather condition, clothing, and other personal preparation. These are all factors that affect the total condition of your body while you carry out your physical activity. Do you feel any discomfort or pain during exercise session? And what are the precautionary measures to avoid them? Or are there available remedies once you experience those health conditions? Well, there may be other kinds of pain or discomfort we may feel as we carry out various physical activities. And for today's discussion, we will focus particularly on dehydration, overexertion, hyperthermia, and hypothermia. Engaging in moderate to vigorous physical activities require personal safety precautions. This is to prevent certain health conditions relating to physical activity participation. Some of you might have experienced this condition, but just unaware of it. This lesson will allow you to deeply understand its signs and symptoms, simple precautionary measures to avoid them, and what could be done in case it happens to you. These conditions should be taken into considerations as they possess various health risks. Exercising in different types of environments, such as in a hot or cold setting, and exercise attire greatly affect the condition of your body. One of the most common health conditions is dehydration. This refers to the excessive loss of water from the body. This usually happens when we perspire or sweat too much. Dehydration happens when your body doesn't have as much water as it needs. And without enough water in our body, we cannot function properly. Even low levels of dehydration can cause headaches, lethargy or lack of energy, and even constipation. The human body of an adult is roughly 70% water. And without water, it cannot survive. As we become dehydrated, blood plasma becomes more thicker, and we may observe an increase in heart rate and in blood pressure. We are always advised to have at least 6 glasses of water per day. But what about when part of our day is spent exercising? When we exercise, even an area with a cold temperature, we sweat. Sweat is the byproduct of perspiration. On a normal day, our body loses about 2.5 liters of water from the lungs, skin, urine, feces, and from perspiration. During an exercise session, your body regulates its temperature depending on the intensity of your activity. In moderate to vigorous physical activities, your body perspires or sweats and you get thirsty. The human body needs water to function the right way. Your water intake should compensate the loss of body water when we exercise. It means we have to take even more than 8 glasses a day. A human body can also lose water through skin, via sweat, urine, or by simply breathing. The body must replace this through proper hydration. And to replace the fluid losses, it is suggested that 150 to 240 or 250 milliliter of fluid should be taken every 15 minutes. Thirst is a sensation of dryness of the mouth and throat associated with a desire for fluids. How can we prevent dehydration? Don't wait until you become thirsty, because thirst is an early sign of dehydration. And if you wait until you are thirsty, you have already begun to dehydrate. So remember to drink water before, during, and after exercise session. Also, you have to dress for the environment. During the warm months, exercise at the coolest time of the day, say early morning or late evening, and wear the lightest clothing that you can. And during the cold months, wear several layers of clothing so that you can remove layers as you begin to sweat. Try to observe these pictures. Have you ever feel pain during exercise? If so, you might have had an overexertion. Overexertion occurs when we push yourselves beyond your physical limits and often result in pain, inflammation, or other injuries. When you participate in too much physical activity and push yourself too hard in the pursuit of high-level performance, you are risking yourself to a variety of hyperkinetic conditions known as irritability, sleep problems, as well as increased risk of injuries. A slightly higher morning heart rate is a useful indicator of overtraining. So this is to remind you to always check your resting heart rate the moment you wake up in the morning. Another health condition associated with physical activity participation is the hypothermia. Hypothermia is a life-threatening condition when body temperature drops below normal level. This could possibly happen when we have our physical activity outdoor or somewhere very cold to the extent that our body's mechanics can no longer adjust to elevate its temperature at a normal level. Hypothermia is characterized by uncontrollable shivering, loss of coordination, and mental confusion. When your body temperature drops, your heart, nervous system, and other organs can't work normally. If not treated, hypothermia can lead to complete failure of your heart and respiratory system and eventually leads to death. So what can you do if you feel the onset of hypothermia? Primary treatments of hypothermia are methods to warm the body back to normal temperature. Have a warm beverage and cover your body with thick clothing. Stay away from the cold area and find a safer place with an average to a little higher temperature. Another health condition associated with the physical activity participation is the hyperthermia. Hyperthermia is heat-related conditions characterized by an abnormally high body temperature. In other words, this is the opposite of the hypothermia. This condition occurs when the body's heat regulation system becomes overwhelmed with outside factors, causing a person's internal temperature to rise. Factors may include extremely hot weather condition, thick clothing which may not be appropriate when you are doing your exercise, and other physical activities. Symptoms of hyperthermia includes abnormally high body temperature, which can be above 38 degrees Celsius, struggle in breathing, extreme sweating, fainting or feeling of exhaustion, muscle cramps, spasm and pain. One precautionary measure to avoid hyperthermia is to choose appropriate place with normal temperature, because any activity that involves exercise in warm, humid environment increases the risk of this condition. Always have your water ready to rehydrate. Remove heavy, thick, and warm clothing to allow proper and normal breathing. And apply damp towel to cool down your body temperature. Do you have any questions so far? Should you have any clarifications, you may ask your respective subject teachers during the follow-up discussion. Okay, let us continue talking about safety. Depending on your chosen physical activities, you utilize sports equipment and facilities, which is most of the time shared with other people. And it is important to practice proper etiquette and safety in its use. Here are some facilities that we use to share with others. It is essential to know that activities can be performed in proper venue. As for the equipment, this may vary depending on your chosen activity. Equipment may also be shared, but it is important to practice proper etiquette in their use. Generally, practice on proper etiquette and safety in the use of equipment and facilities leads to safe, friendly, and successful exercise session. This includes wiping off wet spots caused by drinks and sweat, throwing away used or unneeded supplies and equipment like empty water bottles, athletic tapes, or any small obstruction. Keeping footwear and other belongings on sites or designated places. If it is in an open area, keeping music at acceptable volume so as not to disturb other users. Avoiding monopoly in the use of equipment, instead sharing it with others by taking turns using them. And of course, wearing appropriate attire and clothing, including footwear. So please continue your journey to reach your fitness goals. Always remember, fitness is our business, and lifelong fitness can be achieved if your chosen physical activities are interesting and enjoyable to you. More so, if they are done while taking safety precautions. Always remember that in this time of the presence of health crisis, it is important to equip ourselves not only by having mental health, but also having a healthy body. As this Latin phrase goes, mens sana in corpore sano, a sound mind in a sound body. Thank you for another fruitful session. Goodbye.